So we'll be moving now to your consulting journey again. So can you walk us through your day as a healthcare consultant?
Okay, sure. So in consulting, I mean, depending on which phase of the project you are in, I mean, your work depends on that. So of course, there's a lot of research. There's brainstorming. So research is of firstly individual. Then you brainstorm based with your team. You have client interviews or stakeholder interviews, as we call it, with some partners, etc. Partners from other companies or other firms, etc. And then you further go back to doing research, further brainstorm with senior members of your team, with your project lead or your team lead or your maybe it's partners of the company involved in the project, etc. Then you go out, of course, making slides is associated with consulting, that's most important, or you go out writing a report, etc. And finally you go around doing a presentation to the client. So it depends on where you are, where in the journey you are, the day will differ. Yeah. So that's true for all consulting and not just healthcare consulting per se.
Yes. Sir, can you also brief us over how is your work-life balance and the work culture as a strategy consultant?
Well, well, in consulting, I mean, work-life balance is usually not good, but so far it's been good for me. Thus far, I mean, yeah. So sometimes, actually, quite a few times. So you have to submit some proposals. So you have client deadlines, or you have deadlines because of you submit some bids for big projects, etc. And you have deadlines to meet. So some many times you have to literally burn the midnight oil to work several extra hours. Like yeah, so no, a normal day is like maybe 10 hours a day with breaks, of course. Uh, for more hard for days when you are up against a deadline, it may go up to say 18 hours or more, 18 hours. But then usually it's Saturday, Sunday, no work. Again, that depends on projects. If your project needs work, you may have to work. It's like that. It's more project dependent. It's not like, I mean, we are all white collar workers. You're not blue collar workers. So you're not being timed upon how you work, and the client is built upon the hours you work. So, of course, it depends on the project requirements. So that's how a normal working day is.
All right, sir. Sir, can you brief us over one of your project working with any healthcare startup or any healthcare firm?
Sure, sure. Let me talk about, say, I was part of a major project where we designed a big multi-million dollar firm, a multi-million dollar fund, healthcare financing fund, specifically over $100 million. And this is for helping finance like healthcare supply chain actors across, say, 12 countries, 10 to 12 countries all over Africa, and supported by a major international non-profit working primarily to improve healthcare access. This is, for example, one major healthcare project I worked on. Similarly, I worked on another major healthcare project reform the to help reform the top management of the healthcare system, helping integrate basically the three tiers or four tiers of the healthcare system, and creating a program for training of them. I was part of this project for a certain country. So yeah, so these are some examples. And then I spoke about the startup project, which I was leading as CEO and previously Chief Strategy Officer. That was, of course, healthcare edutech. And then I worked on a biomedical grant project for securing a grant, designing the business plan for a major biomedical breakthrough for University of New South Wales, their biomedical engineering department, their health
All right, sir.
engineering department.
Yeah, yeah, no. Thank you so much for this wonderful insights about your project. So we will be deep diving in your LinkedIn profile. So there are multiple things mentioned in your profile. So I will be naming it one by one. So whatever you can mention about it. So how it has helped you in your career,
Okay.
and what are the skills that have you gained from the course. So the very first thing I saw is PG diploma in medico legal system laws and ethics.
Yeah, that's an interesting course that Symbiosis University used to do. So, and laws are something I've always been interested in. I mean, given the chance, I would even do an LLB. Even now, I don't have the time for that. But yes, being a doctor, it's important to know, keep abreast with medical legal laws, whether you practice or you are in the consulting domain or you are a healthcare administrator. It's very, very important. I mean, I can't stress less on the importance on this, given that there are so many medical legal cases coming up today, and we have even seen changes in the laws in India related to this. Courts have been taking action and stuff. So yeah, it's very important to know what's mentioned in the law specific to a country or good clinical practices of that domain, etc. What is considered as done with good intent, where something is done by a doctor with good intent, uh, but may be foul in the eyes of the law, where the law backs you and stuff. It's important to.
Yes. The next thing is PG diploma in HR from NMIMS.
Yes, so that was also a distance course I did from Monji. So, of course, human resources management is something important. I mean, as in the army, as I told you before, I got a lot of leadership opportunities, both in infantry, the fighting arms, and in the army medical corps, because of which I had to manage a lot of personnel. At one point, I was briefly serving as second in command, the deputy head of full unit of around 850 soldiers and officers. So there are a lot of management tasks. So there are a lot of things you learn on the go, learn on the job, of course, under challenging situations. So I was doing this in Kashmir, or like I was commanding a company on a military exercise in Sikkim, or even on the medical domain, like I was the medical head of a brigade. A brigade is like 4 or 5 units of the army later. So you learn a lot of things there. And then I realized that it is very important to also have the formal qualification. So given I was working, I didn't have the option of doing it full time. So yes, I did this degree from Nasimonji. It was distance learning, and I think it's equivalent to a master's or an MBA or something. But yes, it's definitely a great degree to invest your time and effort on. Great learning well.
All right. So you mentioned you work with couple of projects for AI in healthcare. So what do you think is the role of AI in healthcare?
Oh, thank you for that question. I love that question. I can't stress less upon the importance of AI in healthcare because AI is everywhere right now. I have worked on AI in different domains. I mean, AI is entering every single industry you can think about. AI is even in the consulting industry. AI is in the tech space. AI is in the military and defense space, and even in healthcare. So, in healthcare, a lot of things can be automated through the use of AI. And I mean, for example, in radiography, I know I was talking to some startups in various countries, in Australia and France, etc., that are in the radiology space. Sorry, I meant radiology, not radiography. So in the radiology space, so uh, a lot of people are afraid this will cut down the jobs of doctors and nurses and paramedical staff. I don't believe so at all. AI is a very important tool that, if properly used, if properly optimized, can help improve efficiency of trained medical professionals. But I don't believe that AI can replace a qualified medical professional ever. It's a it's like for example, when robotic arms came up for surgery, did they replace surgeons? No. They're a great tool for the surgeon, though. They've improved precision, they've improved efficiency, they've probably reduced pain for the patient as well, and reduced time for the surgery. But can they replace the surgeon and his skill? They can't replace the human skill. So I think AI in healthcare is a big complement or a big supplement. It can never replace human skill, but the the point I'm trying to make is a lot of people, especially in medicos, I've seen, we have had this debate and discussion before, that they're afraid that AI will eat up their jobs and stuff and etc. It's better to embrace technology rather than be afraid of it. Use it to your advantage. Don't be afraid that they will replace you. They won't. It won't.
All right, so thank you so much for the insights. So this is a very personal question. So what are your future plans?
Okay. So, I mean, my future plans are, of course, to grow in career. Right now, I'm in consulting, primarily in the healthcare and social impact space where I focus on. But yes, I also do other kinds of projects, digital transformation, etc., AI, and sustainability. So, yeah, trying to grow on these projects, go further in the consulting space. And of course, I wish to remain associated with healthcare, though not medical practice per se, but yes, with the healthcare domain per se, of course, more on the policy side of things, more on the strategy side of things, and probably even in the healthcare tech and healthcare startup space. Uh, yeah, so that's my outlook.
All right, sir. Whenever any medical thinks of doing MBBS, so he thinks of some of the very prestigious colleges like AIMS, AFMC. So he was part of AFMC Pune. So can you like brief us over how was your experience and what are the experiences you had which has shaped your career doing considering you are into the consulting. So if you can mention.
Okay, okay. So thank you for the question. Uh, AFMC Pune was a big transformative journey in my life. One of the best decisions of my life. Of course, because it's an unparalleled life, I would say, because you live two lives. So you are getting some elements of military training, and of course, your focus is on becoming a doctor. But what you do at AFMC, apart from that other medical students don't do, is, I mean, there's a lot of emphasis on sports, on say debating and quizzing. I am a quizzer. I'm a semi-professional international level quizzer. Actually, I have represented India at the first international quizzing Olympiad. So I would probably have been a full-time quizzer, professional quizzer, had I got some backing. But anyway, there are a lot of good quizzes from AFMC per se and among doctors in general. So I know people in the Indian cuisine ecosystem and the world ecosystem. It's mostly led by doctors. A lot of it by FMCites. There are some fantastic sportsmen who have come out of FMC Pune. Like I remember a couple of Ranji Trophy cricketers. There was the former Indian women's team hockey captain, her name is, I think, Otiliha Mascarenas, a pretty senior lady. There was our hockey ground named after her at one point of time. And of course, AFMC is a differentiator in your life because a lot of life-changing funda is taught. I mean, medicine, of course, if you go to a top school, you will definitely learn good medicine. But you are taught in AFMC some of the very important life-changing funda, I would say. I can't reveal all here. uh, because my FMC batchmates will be out. But then I think those are very important in going ahead in life, especially even helps me in consulting now that I've changed career track. And there are some others of my some other FMCites I know, quite a few actually. Like there's one of my batchmates who's working in the AI space. There's another who is a medical researcher. He doesn't indulge in medical practice. He's more of a researcher at IIT Bombay. There are others who have gone into management per se, just like me. There's another colleague, another good friend, immediate senior of mine, also did an MBA, also has gone into consulting. Similarly, there are others who have gone into say biomedical informatics. There's one sir. He's pretty much senior, and I think he's a film director. He's won a national award. So there are some people who are sports persons, international sports persons. Uh, a few people are columnists and business owners and stuff. So the good thing is we get a holistic mindset there. I mean, of course, you are there to be a doctor, be a good doctor. That is, of course, the main emphasis. You have the military career track, which is a great way to launch your career, whether or not you want to continue in medicine all your life, or whether or not you want to continue in the military life all your life. But it definitely teaches you things like discipline. It teaches you how to face adversity. how to stay strong mentally. That as per me is the most important thing under any pressure situation, because you face uh, pressure situations anywhere in life, in medicine, in military, in the consulting world, in whatever else you do, in startup space, everywhere. Those kinds of things. And yes, like FMC exposes you to the military life. Once you get in, you make friends with a lot of other military officers from other arms, like from infantry, artillery, armored, and stuff. So I'm still in touch with a lot of them, uh, even though I've been retired for more than 2 years now. And yeah, and given the military label, which is of course in great part attributed to AFMC, I had a great advantage gelling with other people from military background. Even when I went to HEC, for example, we have good friends from the US Navy, US Army, French Army, French gendarmes, etc., Italian Army, Australian Army, and a lot many other places. So that serves you well. I think yes, FMC Pune was definitely a great transformative journey in my life. I'm very thankful to it, and will always be. And I specifically write on this. Used to write on this topic a lot on Quora. There's a Quora channel. I'll probably share the link. Uh, I don't get much time on it these days, but yeah, it's. I definitely recommend AFMC Pune for anybody who's looking at medicine and wants a life less ordinary.
That was a very great insights about AFMC and your journey. So this is the last question I will be asking you. So what is the advice you want to give to the medicos out there who are looking to transition from the clinical to the non-clinical side of healthcare?
Uh, the first advice would be to not neglect your medicine. Number one, that's a great mistake. People think like the first thing is transition. I think firstly it requires mindset change. Medicine is important. You need to know your fundamentals. You need to know your basics, because even when you come onto the non-clinical side of things, say like healthcare consulting or healthcare management, or say research, say healthcare research, or health tech startup space, you will still need the fundamentals. Number one, uh, your medical degree does prepare you for success in a lot many other fields. There's a lot of scope, as we have spoken about, a lot of sectors affiliated to healthcare, or not even affiliated to healthcare, but a lot of transferable learnings still there, like health and AI have a big way to go, for example, or even say health and sustainability, or health and social impact, for example. Why I was talking about mindset change is also because I mean, I've seen this in India. I've heard this from British medico friends, and I've even heard this from Moroccan doctor friends, that even now, even in 2024, when there's a substantial number of doctors who have transitioned into management, consulting, say startup space, etc. Even now, if you are not practicing medicine, you'll be asked why. That's the first question that people ask. And some people may ask it genuinely, some people may are just out of curiosity, some people may ask it condescendingly, some may lecture you on you wasted a medical seat, or something like that, or why it would be helpful for on the others to for you to be practicing medicine, things like that. I mean, you have to carve your own journey in life. You have to have your own goals clear in life. uh, I would say while practicing medicine is important, by being a medico, you can also contribute to the healthcare space a lot by being in the management field, being in consulting, being in healthcare policy formulation, healthcare research. We need good researchers. For example, in India, I was into healthcare research space a lot. I won a lot of projects with Indian Council of Medical Research. I think I was also the only medical student selected way back. I think 8 9 years back, for this big joint fellowship by the top three pure science academies in India. But why I left that space is because I realized the emphasis is only on securing a job, not on cutting edge research. There's not too much of funding, etc., compared to what is done in say US universities or say Australian universities where I've seen it myself. So you can contribute a lot by doing this. Healthcare research has a huge future, let me tell you. Same as healthcare consulting, healthcare management, policy formulation is so important in the healthcare space. I mean, yeah. So, for example, post COVID, this has become even more relevant. So, let me cite an example. For example, India was spending less than 0.8% of its GDP. A huge country like India was spending less than 0.8% of its GDP, I think around 2020 or so. And now it has doubled, gone up to almost 1.8% or maybe more than 2%. Even still, this is a minor fraction of what many other countries spend. European countries or advanced Asian countries like Japan or Singapore, etc., they spend between 5 to 10% or even up to 15% on healthcare. So there is a big need of change in healthcare policy formulation also. So there's a lot of things to do. I would say carve your own journey. Don't listen to a lot of rubbish talk that people give you. People will try to dissuade you. I also had my fair share of people who tried to dissuade me, but then thankfully I had more number of people pushing me to be successful in my journey. So I stand where I stand now, and I think ultimately it is important to stay focused and go ahead with your own journey and carve out your own path.
All right, so we are done with this session. Thank you so much for your time and providing us the wonderful insights of your journey and consulting. Uh, so this was all for this session.